Hello and welcome to Pune Times Mirror. I'm Prince Chaudhary. Today we have a very special guest in our studio, Dr. Manjri Prabhu, who's a doctorate in communication science, a short filmmaker, curator, founder, director of two international festivals. She has directed over 200 children's TV programs, around 50 short travel and fiction films, and has authored over 21 novels, 23 now actually, and just released. And she is the first female mystery author to be published outside India. Am I right?
Yes, that's right.
Yes. So, for this exclusive discussion, we are thrilled to have you with us. So, let's get started. Dr. Prabhu, can you tell us that you have been writing for the past almost 5 decades, more than 5 decades in the world of writing? Can you tell our viewers about your incredible journey? What inspired you to become an author?
First of all, thank you so much for having me here. It's such a pleasure being here. To answer your question, I think I knew ever since I was a child that I wanted to be a writer. I think all of us almost have grown up reading Enid Blyton books.
Right.
So I think she's been.
So have I actually also.
Exactly, yeah. So, and we were talking about that before. And so she's actually, I have to give her full credit for this because I grew up reading her books and Agatha Christie and Jane Austen and Daphne du Maurier and all these books. And I realized at a very early age that I wanted to be a writer.
Wow.
And the reason is that the worlds that they created, especially Enid Blyton, and when I used to read it at a very young age, I realized that here's a world of fiction where no matter what happens, everything ends up well in the end.
Wow.
At the same time, entertaining you and completely and getting you engrossed into the mystery. And it's a world of fiction which tells you that no matter what happens in your life, all is going to be well in the end. So that totally changed my idea of writing. And I thought here was a genre which was given to me on almost like on a platter. And I realized that I definitely wanted to be a mystery writer, create fictitious worlds like she did, and write fiction that would stay on in the lives of people forever and forever.
Long after they finished reading the book.
Yes, long after that, because the most important part, I'm talking about Enid Blyton right now. At this age, books that I read in my childhood. Just imagine the kind of impression it's left on my mind, and this is like actually being immortal. And I think what
Absolutely.
I really sought through all my writing is immortality, because writers can be immortal. They stay in the lives of readers through memories, through the characters they create, and I think that's absolutely fascinating. And I think that's what I sought: immortality.
Wow. So you're also labeled as the Indian Agatha Christie, who's one of the most famous mystery writers, I believe. And you're a master storyteller. Your novels are unique masterpieces with ingenious plots, memorable characters, and evocative language. Can you elaborate for our viewers, please?
Well, those are very nice terms, and it really feels good when you say this. But honestly, it's writing is a passion with me, and I've always wanted to write the mystery genre, but I've challenged myself at every point in my life to write something which is different from what I've already written.
Oh.
So mystery genre has a typical format. There are certain characters, there are suspects, there's a crime, and then you have to solve it. How could I do this different was the question I kept asking myself over all the 23 books that I've written. Some are, of course, nonfiction, but all the fiction that I've written, I've asked myself, how can this book be different from the first one?
Right.
And that involves a lot of research, layered characters, beautiful locations, locations which would, offer a lot of creativity for trails and clues and stuff like that. And so when you put in so much research and when you put in, you think of different ways of projecting a story, then automatically viewers and readers look at it in a very different way. It's not a typical, it's a mystery novel kind of a thing. My effort has always been to raise raise the platform or raise the standard of mystery fiction in India. You said initially that I was labeled as the Indian Agatha Christie. But let me tell you that, or of that, I was the first female fiction author to be published outside India.
Right.
All these things happened way back in the 90s and the 2000s, early 2000s, where mystery fiction was not written popularly by Indian women.
Indian women.
And
right.
automatically, you are compared to someone in the West. So that's
Absolutely.
the normal thing. Like
Absolutely.
I write children books. I'm compared to Enid Blyton. I write mystery novels. I'm compared to Agatha Christie.
Right.
I've written the destination thrillers. I'm compared to Dan Brown.
Dan Brown.
So this is a typical how do you say, an Indian attitude where
Absolutely.
no matter what you write, there is no Indian fallback system or
Absolutely.
comparable system. So they go back to the West. So that's how it happened. But having said that, I believe that I have my own style of writing, my own ideas. I write innovative stuff, like I've written the destination thrillers, and that's the reason why I guess I get all these labels, and I'm happy.
Where do you get these ideas to write mystery stories? Because mysteries involve a lot of suspense, So where do you get that from?
Well,
please tell our viewers.
Okay, so I have a very a personal theory on how ideas come. I believe that like you have dust particles moving around us, which we don't see, obviously, to the naked eye. I feel that ideas are floating around us all the time, around me all the time. And ideas are also looking for a fertile, imaginative brain, field where they can go and sow themselves.
Lodge themselves there.
That's right. And I think these ideas are floating around me. And at some particular appropriate time, they find me and they lodge themselves in me. I really seriously do believe in this.
So you're saying you attract these ideas.
Exactly. So I have a two-way creative process. I wait for the ideas to come to me. I don't chase ideas, but once the idea comes to me, then I really work on it. Lots of research, lots of plotting, lots of planning, going to places. It's like a journey.
Oh.
It's a huge literary journey, very satisfying, but it's a long journey. The second thing is that I have faith.
Oh.
I believe that ideas will come to me, so I don't have to chase them. And once that idea comes to me, I believe that it is going to happen. Every novel is destined to happen.
Right.
It's destined to be born. So with that faith and faith in my creative process, I just start the process and I get involved in it, and it's a journey which goes on. And there's absolutely no doubt in my mind that this is going to happen now.
Wow. Okay, so this Rampur Raza mystery, which was launched by the President of India, Draupadi Murmu, can you tell us, can you give us a synopsis, famed book which the President herself has launched? Can you tell our viewers something about it?
So basically, like I mentioned before, I write destination thrillers. And I've written, 5. The 5th one has just come out.
This is the book, right?
Yeah. So this is the
you
book.
You could probably hold us to.
Yes, this is called the Rampur Raza Mystery. Now, the Raza Library is a library in Uttar Pradesh, which has just completed 250 years. And I got an offer from the Ministry of Culture saying, you write destination thrillers. Will you be able to write a library thriller? And I said, of course. So they said, you go to Rampur Raza Library, base a thriller there and come and write a book. I went there for 5 days. I came back and wrote a book in 1 month, and the book was scheduled to be launched by the President on 5th of August. And that's how it happened. But I call this my miracle book, by the way, because writing a book in 1 month is nearly impossible, but it happened. The thing was that from what I heard, the President has never launched books. They don't launch books.
They don't launch
They
books.
do not launch books. And they told me that I'm the first person that, first whose book she's launching, and this is the book. And
that's an honor indeed.
It is a huge honor.
Huge
and I'm
honor.
very proud of it, and I'm very grateful about it. This book is about the library itself, but like all my destination thrillers, the library is not a backdrop. The library is actually a character, which happens in all my destination thrillers. The destinations are actually characters. It's not something which like you sit on the street in Paris and drink a cup of coffee on the pavement. It's not that. That restaurant would probably have a role in the whole thing, or that kind of thing. So this book is where Sassy, who is actually a PhD student, and she's studying how the minds of detective works. And she's invited to this library, Rampur Raza, which is going to celebrate its 250th anniversary. And suddenly things start happening. There's a very ancient Ramayana there, and the original, the 7th century Quran, which is there, written by the Prophet's son-in-law on camel skin, which is actually there, by the way.
It's written on camel skin.
That's right. And those books are there, and they get stolen. And it is up to Sassy to solve the mystery, find the
wow.
books in 12 hours.
Wow.
That's the
Fantastic.
Rambu Raza mystery.
So, going ahead, my next question is, see, Dr. Shashi Tharoor, who doesn't know him, he has compared you to Dan Brown, very famous novelist, saying that Dan Brown has met his match. Can you tell us, your viewers, about that?
Well,
It's interesting.
it's a huge honor. Somebody, an erudite like Shashi Tharoor says something like this. In fact, by the way, I've coined a term for him. I call him current spirer. We did it at a Lit Fest where we coined new words, and I have a special word for him called current spirer.
Current spider.
Yeah, it's a new word that I've coined, which says that an inspiring personality who inspires others to be like him.
Wow.
Current spider. Now I also use that word for my detective Ray Parker, but that's a different story. But yes, he's been very kind, and he's launched four almost of my destination thrillers. And he's read the books. And I remember the first book, which was launched in 2017, The Trailer for, which is based in Salzburg. I had requested him to launch the book in the Austrian embassy in Delhi. He was in the US, and I had sent him the book. He came for the launch. The launch was supposed to start at 6 o'clock. He sat in the car and he finished reading the book completely. He didn't, just go through the book or scan it. He sat there, he finished reading the book, and then he came for the launch, and then he spoke about the book.
Wow.
So he's very committed. And when he says something, it's a huge honor.
Yes.
And I'm very grateful to him that he's given me, said such nice things about my book. It's very encouraging.
So, talking about the international festival that you are a curator and founder director about. So, as the founder director of the Pune International Literary Festival, which has been going on for 12 years,
12 years, yeah.
This is the 13th year,
Yes.
correct? So, how has this number 13? Has it been lucky for you? Has it, made any change in this from these 12 years? Can you tell our viewers about it?
Sure. So the Pune International Literary Festival was started in 2013. And we had a very specific goal in mind, that is to bring literature down to the grassroots and to encourage readers and writers to meet. And it was a platform where even debut writers could be a part of it. And we call it a festival with a heart. It's not a commercial festival in that sense. There's no entry fee. We have 100 plus speakers, 4-5 parallel sessions. It used to happen for 3 days. Now it's 2 days. So it's a huge cultural, educational, informative entertainment package, which is free for all Punekars to attend. And it's been going on for 12 years. Having said that, this is our 13th year. And like you said, will it be lucky for us? A lot remains to be seen. Because you see, the journey has not been, it's very fulfilling, but it has been filled with challenges. And this year especially, or the last 2 years, we've had a very unique and peculiar kind of challenge. Oh. And that is that NBT and I think NBT and maybe some parts of BJP or some people from BJP, they're doing a Pune Book Festival on the exact same dates as ours. And now we are very happy there's a World Book Fair kind of a book festival.
And when has this taken place?
This happened 2 years. This year in December 2024 and December 2023. On the exact same dates as us. Now that kind of confuses people because you see, we've been doing it for a long time. My family supports me, my friends support me, and it's like an independent thing that we've been doing PILF for the last 12 years. We are struggling with funds. There's so many challenges, but we're doing this for the love of literature. If someone else wants to do a lit fest, well and good. If somebody wants to do a book festival, very good. More the people in this field, the better. But I don't see the point of doing it on the exact same dates as us.
Exactly.
Because that defeats the purpose. We are all doing the same thing, promoting the love of literature, encouraging writers. So I don't see how this helps, anybody in Pune.
And it probably creates confusion in the mind of
definitely, because people. You see, people used to go. First, they used to ask us, they didn't know where it was, which was the location, because there's this Ferguson College, ours was Yashoda. So the confusion started with the location. Then it started with the hashtag, because we've been Pune Lit Fest, Pune International Lit Fest for a long time.
Right.
So everyone used to hashtag them and it used to come to us.
Oh.
And so people got completely confused, and they even started a Lit Fest called the Pune Lit Fest on the exact same dates. So when I step back and look at what's happening, I feel something's not right here. We both have to work together, not against each other.
So it gives the impression that there are two lit fests going on the same day.
Exactly.
So which is which?
Exactly. And that doesn't serve any purpose other than confusion.
Absolutely.
Because you see, people who are coming to our Lit Fest for years will anyway come to our festival. But what is the point in confusing the audience?
Correct.
What is the point in confusing them? Then they don't know whether they have to go to Ferguson College or to come to Yashoda. They don't understand whom to listen to. They don't understand why this is happening. So
And
it's
and
pointless.
what is the is there any major differences between these two festivals, yours and the one that has been going on for the past 2 years?
So, Pune Book Festival is basically a book fair where they have, I think, about 200 plus book stalls which sells books,
Okay.
which is fine, which is great because even I love to go to World Book Fairs and all that. What we do is we have literature discussions.
Oh.
We have book launches. We launch authors. We give authors a platform to talk about their books and debut authors a chance to meet prospective readers. So ours is a very immersive experience.
Okay.
It's like that's the reason why we call it a festival with a heart. We have a social theme involved in it. We have an exhibition on an author. We've got a mystery room where you can go and so it's solve mysteries. So our whole purpose of the festival is, with the moment you step in, you get something concrete out of it, and it's a small festival. People enjoy being there. People learn, and
Right.
there's a takeaway. The World Book Fair kind of a Pune Book Festival is like a huge affair. They've got 200 stalls, and it's
So
like people walk
so
in.
it's more commercially oriented.
Definitely, because they're selling books there.
Okay.
So the goals are completely different. However, this year they added another Lit Fest to it, which is also fine, but not on the same days.
Right.
That doesn't, I don't know, augur well for either of us.
Okay. Now you've won numerous awards.
Uh,
Yeah. Please tell our viewers about what kind of awards are there? National awards, international awards.
So, there are about 2-3 awards. I mean, first of all, of course, my books have been recognized internationally, the Astral Alibi and the Cosmic Clues, which were published by Random House USA, were recognized by the Mystery Booksellers of America, and the Kiriyama Prize said that the Astral Alibi is a very notable book. So these are mentions. Then I've got some awards from ERTC Global for Aspiring Leader, our global leader in creative writing, etc. But honestly, the award which I really loved most was the one that I got for humanitarian from the Rotary Club for
Rotary Club.
humanitarian purposes for taking care of street dogs.
Oh.
I've been taking care of street dogs. Rather, my family and all of us have been taking care of street dogs for the last 40 plus years.
My God.
We feed them, we get them sterilized, we try to get them adopted, we fight against society if necessary.
You have also written books on them. One book is
Yes.
if I'm not quite getting the name,
No,
but
I've written a book called The Dog Train of Peace. It's
Dog
not the
Train.
Dog Train,
Yeah,
but
Dog
the
Train.
Dog Train
Dog
of
Train
Peace.
of Peace.
An alternate path to spiritual growth,
Okay.
and the reason I've written the book was, a dog came into my life. So I've grown up with dogs. When I was growing up, we had an Alsatian, then there was another German Shepherd, and when I was in college, someone gifted me a Pomeranian called Sheena. And when
Okay.
Sheena came into my life, she changed my life completely. I look at myself as Manjiri before Sheena and Manjiri after Sheena.
Okay.
Because, the moment a dog enters your life, they change you internally. They change you from the inside. You
Absolutely.
learn to be more compassionate. You learn to understand people. You learn to understand nature, our relationship with nature, the need for environment, the need for coexistence and harmony and peace. And I toyed with this idea. I realized that the world. This idea came to me much before. I toyed with the idea of bringing back a bit of compassion into our lives. I realized that people were getting, you could see so many things happening around you, cruel things, insensitive things. People were intolerant, and I realized that compassion was going out of their lives. So, what was the best way to bring back compassion into our lives? Because we all grew up with compassion,
Absolutely.
but along the way we lose it.
Absolutely.
Because of lots of things happening, situational, family, whatever, everything is happening in our life, and we lose that compassion. So I realized that there was only one thing and one person or one body that could bring compassion into our lives, and that was dogs.
So this bonding with dogs,
Yeah.
how has it impacted your writing?
It has. That's what I'm saying. I am a different person completely, because you see, when dogs are in your life, they make you aware of existence, the value of life, unconditional love. They give up their lives for you. They
Correct.
change you in so many ways. They show you what life really means. And when that happens, you can't just be a person. You become a human being.
Absolutely.
For me, if so I believe that humanity means humans in unity for humaneness,
Oh,
and we've lost that somewhere. So dogs will bring back that humaneness in unity for us and really make us a humanity, together. And I think dogs will do that for us. I mean, it's a
wow.
book. It's got many interviews in it. It's got experiences of animal lovers from all over the world. The scientific research in it. So it's a 360 degrees research that I've done to prove the point that emotionally, scientifically, socially, spiritually, dogs are the answer to world peace.
Wow. My final question to you would be, what advice would you give to aspiring young girls, who want to become authors, who want to take up writing? What kind of message would you give them? Is this like a career thing? Can people actually, take to writing and, take it as a full-time career?
Well, okay, definitely. The first advice everybody gives, and I have always given, is read, read, read. Read so much that writing happens naturally to you.
Right.
If you're a reader, an avid reader, you will automatically be a good writer.
Right.
That's number one. Number two, be original. There is no substitute for originality. There is
Absolutely.
absolutely none. And having said that, a lot has already been written. So much has been written that you have to really rethink and think out of the box to create something really new. There's
Right.
no point rehashing the same thing because millions of books have already been written. And why are you different? So you have to find out why you are different. Thirdly, I feel writing novels or any kind of creativity is where your inherent knowledge, you're born with an inherent knowledge and instinct, and your experience of life, an understanding of human relations and everything, they combine with your own imagination.
Oh,
And when this combination happens, that's when creativity happens.
absolutely.
So you need to travel, you need to read books, you need to meet a lot of new people,
Correct.
you need new experiences, you need to grow from inside and outside. And when you do that, your writing is automatically going to be mature,
Right.
okay, and exciting and interesting for everyone. That's what will make you a great novelist.
Fantastic. Dr. Prabhu, it was a real pleasure to have you with us for this exclusive discussion.
Yes.
We thank you. Pune Mirror extends its heartfelt gratitude to you for spending time with us. Thank you
Pleasure
so
being
much.
here. Please, may I talk about my little bit about my
Sure.
latest release?
Sure, please.
This is my latest release. It's called The Grand Oxford Mystery. It's the 5th destination thriller with Ray Parker, who's a current Spire detective. I'm going to
Oh.
use the word current Spire.
Okay.
And this book takes place in Oxford, UK. And well, it's a destination thriller. It's thrilling. It takes place in 36 hours. And there's a dog in it this time.
As well. Wow.
There's a dog.
Wow. All right.
Lovely.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you.